Good morning, students. Welcome back to our class that is International Business. Today we are going to complete a very good topic in fifth unit. That is nothing but organization culture, language communications, and language barriers and culture barriers. So, what do you mean organization? Organization is a place where different kinds of people with different religious, different culture join together to work for the common goal, and that is known as organizational culture. Then an organizational culture defines the proper way to behave within the organization. That means this culture consists of shared beliefs and values established by leaders and then communicated and reinforced through various methods, ultimately shaping employee perceptions, behaviors, and understanding. So every individual, that means in the world we are having different kinds of culture, perceptions, behavior, understanding, taste, the way of living, standard of living, all these things are there where everyone should have to consider. That means they are going to share their beliefs and values for the establishing of leaders and then communicate, reinforce among various methods like shaping the employees, their perceptions, their behaviors, and understanding of the employees. If you see here in this picture, these people belongs to different countries and with different culture and beliefs and values, even though they are shaping one figure, that is a diamond figure. They have adjusted, but the main concept goal is that their perception, their understanding, and their goal should be common. Now, if you see here, the organization culture profile consists of innovative, that means creativity should be there, aggressive should be there, outcomes oriented, that means the result oriented should be there, and should be stable for a period of time, long period or short term period or middle period. Then people oriented, that means people should have to interact with each other and the beliefs and values should have to match with each other. Then team oriented, group of people of different culture, different religion, different places join together for the common goal and working for the common team. Then detail orientation, that means every detail should have to be explained to one and all so that they can work together. So that these process is known as organizational culture profile. Now, perspective organizational culture. So what are the perspective means? What, so it defines the roles and the personnel, that means how the workforce, that how the employees that are needed and responsible for the given process within the body of the organizations, even though they belong to different mindset, different countries, different customs, different religion, but their work and their goal should be common, as they should have to be responsible for uh, the process what they had given to them. So this would be job descriptions. It includes job descriptions, skills, education requirements, and that to be different positions. So all these things are taking place over here. Next thing, uh, we are having, yeah, here the organizational culture of respect. See, different in every organization, even though if it department, if it belongs to same department, but it varies from, it differ from organization to organization. The different culture is there, they will follow songs or rules, basically. So humanities relationship should be there, how the humanity relationship should be there, that is the main concern. Then how the uh, nature of the reality and truth should be there, what is the human nature, those things will come. Like coming to the humanities relationship, in this the at the organization level, the members view the relationship of the organizations to its general environment. So, one of the dominance, submissions, harmony, finding an appropriate niche or something else. Coming to the nature of reality and truth, the linguistic and behavioral rules that defines what is real and what is not truth in is ultimately determined, and whether truth is revealed or discovered. Next, the nature of human activity or the human nature. If I talk about like this determines, that means human nature determines the nature of human beings, whether they are good, evil, or neutral. It also tries to understand the concept of being human and the attributes and that make a person human. Now, coming to the nature of human activity, this tries to understand the various activities which a human being is involved in, whether it is work or play, and whether individuals are engaged in right things or wrong things. Now, coming to the last, the nature of human relationship. It is know how people are related to each other, the various aspects involved in it, such cooperativeness, competitiveness, individualistic, group collaborative, or communal, and whether the people are based on traditional linear authority, laws, charisma, etc. All these things are there. And apart from that, we are having the components of culture like artifacts, exposed values, basic assumptions. Now, we will go with the elements of culture. What are the elements of culture? What are the main tools we need? Language. Any language for a particular place or for a particular time. Language plays an important role because it is a primary means used to transmit the information and ideas uh, from one person to another person. Like knowledge of local language can help in four ways. Like it permits a clear understanding of the situation, and with direct knowledge of a language, a business person does not have any rely on someone to interpret or explain. Second thing, language provides direct access to local people who are frequently more open in their communication. Now, thirdly, language is an understanding. That means understanding of the language allows the person to pick up nuances, implied meaning, and other information. And finally, language helps a person to understand the culture better. That is, language is important. Now, coming to the religions, there are n number of major religions in the world like Hinduism, Catholicism, Islam, Jewish, Protestant, Buddhist, Christianity, and Confucians. All these things are there. So, religions influence lifestyles, beliefs, values, and attitudes, and have a dramatic effect on the way people in a society act towards each other and towards those in other societies. Not only that, religions can also affect the work habits of the people, and religions also affect and work and social customs from the days of the week on which people work out their to their dietary habits. Even major holidays are often tied to religions, like on Christmas for greater part of world, Deepavali in India, uh, like Ramzan and Bakrid and Saint Nicholas, that means Dutch Day, Frostman's Day in the Russians. Similarly, religions also affects politics and business also. Now, material culture. See, material culture consists of objects that people make. In examining this element of culture, we consider basic economic infrastructure, like such as the country's transportations, communications, energy capabilities, the social infrastructure, which consists of the country's health, housing, and education system, and the financial infrastructure. A society's technology is important because it influences the nation or national standard of living and helps to account for the country's values and beliefs. Now, attitudes and belief. Attitudes and beliefs, that means it's nothing but in every society there are norms, that means rules and regulations of behavior based on attitudes, values, and beliefs that constitute a part of the culture. So, these vary from country to country, and the set of attitudes and belief of a culture will influence nearly all aspects of human behavior. So we are having different attitudes like attitudes towards our time. How the people, that means in the international business, attitudes towards times are displayed in behavior regarding punctuality, response to business communications, response to deadline, and target time. Like Americans, for example, Americans are known to be punctual and speed on deadlines, while Japanese companies takes a lengthy time to review the details of a deal. Now, coming to the attitudes towards the work and leisure. So, in culture where both rewards and punishments from greater or lesser amount of work and low, there is little incentives for people to work harder than absolutely necessary. So, it is there. Now, coming towards the attitude towards achievement. So, cultural difference is the in the general attitude towards work are also accompanied by significant national differences in achievement, motivation. In some cultures, like particularly those with highly stratified and hierarchical society, there is a tendency to avoid personal responsibility and to work according to precise instructions received from supervisors that are followed to the letter. Next thing, Attitudes towards change. See, the international manager must understand what aspects of the culture will resist change and uh, how those areas to resistance differ from among culture. Attitudes towards job. The type of the job that is considered most desirable or prestigious varies greatly across different cultures. Thus, while the medical and legal professions are considered extremely prestigious in the United States, civil service is considered the most prestigious occupation in several developing countries. Now, coming to the aesthetics relates to the artistic taste of the culture. For example, the aesthetics values of Americans are different from those of the Chinese as reflected by the art, literature, music, and the artist taste of the two people. Education. See, education influences many aspects of culture. Literate people read widely and have a much better understanding of what is happening in the world. Additionally, higher rates of literacy usually result in greater economic productivity and the technological advance. So the education also helps to provide infrastructure needed to develop for developing managerial talent. Education is a critical factor in understanding the culture. Now, communication. What do you mean by communication? Communication is an act of giving and receiving and sharing information from one person to another person, from one organization to another organization via any equipments or electronic gadgets. Talking or writing and listening or reading. So good communications listens carefully, speak or write clearly, and respect different options. So that is the main. That means these are good communication skills they have. Now, if you see here, communication is the process of passing information. That means sending the message and understanding receiving. That means here this she is the sender, she is sending the message, and he is the receiver, and he is receiving the message clearly. On what she thought and sending the message, the same thought should have to come in his mind. The perception should be similar, and that's understanding. So the same from one person to another person through verbal and non-verbal means. Now, importance of communications. The importance of communications takes place. That means with the help of communications, we can express our thoughts, ideas, and feelings, creating awareness among the peoples or individual or in the organization, fulfilling our goal within a short span of time or at target place or with punctual persons. Then avoid isolated. That means we can avoid the isolated area. Then highlights issues. Whatever the issues are there, we can highlight, and we can bring the progress and development and growth in the organization. Education, the masses, etc. That means literacy rate can help for bringing the communication and understanding the thoughts, ideas, and feelings of one person. That means group of peoples or companies. Functions of communications. There are four functions of communication. First thing, motivation should be there. When the communication is there, there should be a motivation for the peoples. Then emotional expressions. There will be emotional expressions we have to come up for that, and the communication should be informationable. Whatever the information we are, whatever we are communicating, it should be informationable. Then there should be control over the among the peoples. Now, what is the process of communication? First, a sender should be there. A person who is sending the message is known as a sender. The person who is receiving the message is known as the receiver. The sender who is sending the message, it will goes in the encoding form where the sender will understand, and this message is typed and it will goes into that language where the receiver can understand. That is called decoding. And a noise will be, if any disturbance are there, it will go through. And the feed, once the receiver receives the message, there will be feedback to the sender. Either it has received in a positive way or in a negative way properly, or any kind of noise or disturbance were there. So these are the process of communications where international level or internal or external communication skills takes place. Now, internal or external communications. Internal communications skills consist of notices, reports, memos, face-to-face, emails, team briefing, presentations. All these things will come under the internal communication. Coming to the external communications, letter, faxes, direct mails, advertisements, video, websites, pamphlets, brochures. These are the external communications. This is the difference between the internal and external. Now, internal communication skills need intranet, emails, meetings, trainings, newsletter, or phone calls within the organizations. Whereas external communications need advertisement, news release, conference, speaking engagement. But for advertising, that means internet will provide the website, the advertisement is taking place. Social media is needed for advertising or news releases. Flyers need for conference and speaking. Events need for engaging. Photography should be there, which talks about the internal things will be explored and externally it can be advertised. So communications is playing a vital role in improving the business. Now, language barriers. See, language is a set of symbols are shared by a community or set of words, symbols, or sentences that is shared by a community that function to communicate meaning and experience. There should be a meaning, sense, and experience should be there. And language reflects unique properties of cultures. So hence language can also create communication problems, especially when it comes to translation and language shocks. So these are the barriers that means we have to break. Now, culture barriers. In culture barriers, what is happening? Different kinds of peoples are there in the world, with different religions, different customs. So these things will be there, but the common goal is there. It should not have to affect. There should not be disobedience with any religions. There should not be any disrespect towards any religions at the international level. So these are the barriers of the culture. So I hope students you understand the concept and please mention your roll numbers in the comment box. Feel free to give the feedback. That means if you did not understand any concept, please comment in the comment box so that I can uh, rectify it in the next video, or you can call me on my personal window, or you can send the message on my personal window so that I can get back to you soon. Thank you. Have a nice day.